Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing well, I hope you're feeling safe, and I especially hope you're not watching this while sitting alone in a dark room. Because today we're diving into a topic that has fascinated humans for centuries. A topic that is morbid, uncomfortable, terrifying, and strangely impossible to look away from. Yes, today we are exploring the very worst ways a human being can die. Now before anyone panics, let me reassure you, you are totally fine, you're safe. These are just stories. But human imagination is funny. We can't help wondering about our biggest fears. What is the scariest possible way to go? What would be the most painful, the most psychologically intense, the most avoidable, the most terrifying? People love talking about this stuff. There's an entire corner of the internet dedicated to the worst way to die conversation. And no matter how strong or brave you think you are, everyone has something that makes them shiver. Maybe it's drowning. Maybe it's falling. Maybe it's fire. Maybe it's tiny spaces. Maybe it's the fear of leaving the world without anyone knowing where you went. Well, today we're putting all those fears on the table. Let's begin with one that everyone has imagined at least once, whether during turbulence on a flight or after watching one too many disaster movies. The terror of a plane going down. Statistically, air travel is one of the safest ways to move around. But statistics mean nothing when your stomach drops, the cabin rattles, the overhead bins shake, and that little voice in your head goes, "This is it." The worst part of dying in a plane crash isn't actually the crash, it's the anticipation. You're trapped in a metal tube thousands of feet in the air, unable to escape, unable to fix anything, and forced to look out a tiny window as the world races toward you. Time slows down. Your brain fires every survival signal it has. People scream. Some freeze. Others pray. Even if the crash only lasts a few seconds, the psychological torture feels like an eternity. From the air, we drop into the ocean, literally. Drowning is one of the oldest, most universal fears in human history. Even the idea of it makes your chest tighten. Being underwater and suddenly realizing you can't breathe triggers instant panic. But drowning isn't fast. It's slow, confusing, disorienting. Your brain screams for oxygen. Your body tries to gasp. Your lungs fill. Consciousness comes and goes. People who have survived near drownings often describe it as a heavy, crushing quiet, like the world closing in on them. For centuries, drowning was even used as public execution because of the horrifyingly slow and helpless it is. Fire, on the other hand, provides the complete opposite: too much sensation, too much pain, too fast. Being burned alive is one of the most excruciating experiences the human nervous system can process. And the cruel irony is that many victims don't die from the flames. They die from smoke inhalation first. But if the fire gets to you, your skin bubbles, your nerves scream, your hair burns, your lungs fill with hot air. People historically tied to stakes weren't just killed. They were forced to feel every second of their body failing. It's a nightmare that mankind used far too often in the past. But if fire is torture, imagine the void of the open ocean. Specifically, being stranded at sea. Picture this. You're floating on a piece of debris, surrounded by miles and miles of water, nothing on the horizon. The sun beats down. There's no shade, no food, no fresh water. The salt dries your skin. Your lips crack. Your stomach knots. Days blend into nights. Nights blend into hallucination. Dehydration kicks in, and your organs slowly begin to shut down. Sharks circle. Jellyfish drift near. Sea creatures bump the wood beneath you. There's no sense of time, no sense of direction. Survival becomes a day-by-day gamble, and every hour feels like a countdown. And speaking of animals, let's talk about being eaten alive. A scenario so terrible it appears in myths, nightmares, and ancient paintings. Humans aren't used to being prey. So when it does happen, when a bear or a lion or a crocodile grabs hold of you, the terror is primal. A part of your brain that you didn't even know existed lights up. You hear bones crack. You feel pressure you can't fight. You watch as your body is torn apart piece by piece, fully aware of every second. Even smaller creatures, piranhas, swarms of insects, even massive snakes, turn the human body into a fragile, powerless object. Some giant snakes crush their victims first, snapping ribs like twigs, before swallowing them whole. Imagine being conscious when that begins. Now, let's shift from animals to something quieter, slower, and far more haunting. Starvation. Humans need food to live, and when the body stops receiving it, everything goes into emergency mode. Fat burns first, then muscle, then organs. The brain slows, The heartbeat weakens. Skin sags. Thoughts become foggy. Time stretches out. Hunger begins as discomfort, then becomes pain, then becomes a hollow, gnawing emptiness that spreads through your entire body. Starvation is not dramatic. It's not fast. It's not loud. It's a slow fade into nothingness, and the body fights every step of the way. Where starvation is slow, freezing to death has its own unique horror. At first it's uncomfortable, cold fingers, stiff movements, chattering teeth. But then the body begins to shut down in stages. Numbness spreads, muscles stiffen, the brain becomes sluggish, and then something strange happens. Many victims report feeling warm, even hot. They begin stripping off clothing. This is called paradoxical undressing. Hallucinations follow. Confusing grows. Some curl up in the snow. Others wander in circles. Freezing doesn't kill instantly. It gently steals your awareness until your body simply can't keep going. If nature hasn't scared you yet, how about your own imagination turning against you during a fall from a great height? When you slip from a cliff, fall from a building, or experience a parachute malfunction, time behaves strangely. Your brain goes into overdrive. You're aware of everything. The wind, the speed, the ground racing up at you. You understand exactly what is happening, but you can't stop it. Some people faint. Others scream. Others accept it. But the terrifying part is knowing that there is nothing beneath you except distance, and that eventually that distance disappears. From psychological terror to human cruelty, we arrive at torture. While many medieval techniques are thankfully banned, torture still takes place around the world today. And torture isn't just physical. It's psychological. Victims are often kept awake for days, deprived of food and water, beaten, manipulated, disoriented, and pushed to their physical and mental limits. What makes torture one of the worst ways to die is not just the pain, it's the total loss of control. You don't know what's coming next. You don't know when it will stop. You don't know whether the person hurting you wants you alive or dead. And when death does come, it often comes as a twisted mercy. Finally, we reach one of humanity's oldest and deepest fears, being buried alive. This is a nightmare of nightmares. Claustrophobia, darkness, silence, the weight of the earth above you, the sound of your own breathing echoing back at you. People buried alive have no space to move, no way to escape, no way to scream loud enough for anyone to hear. You're forced to listen to your heartbeat, your breath, your thoughts, your fear. Panic sets in. Oxygen runs out. Your chest tightens. Every minute lasts an eternity. For centuries, premature burials happen more often than we like to admit. So often, in fact, that 19th century coffins were built with bells and string systems, just in case. All of these ways to die, fast or slow, natural or unnatural, physical or psychological, remind us that human survival is fragile. The world is filled with the dangers, some dramatic, some subtle, some ancient, some modern. But they also remind us of something else, that staying alive day by day is a victory we take for granted. If you made it to the end of this video, congratulations, you're definitely not squeamish. And if you want more deep dives into terrifying, fascinating, and unbelievable stories, make sure you subscribe to the channel. There are many more mysteries, dark tales, and shocking realities waiting for you. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and try not to think about any of these too much the next time you're lying in bed at night.